It's Carter, man. It is Friday morning. So let's talk about Xi's visit to the United States, okay? Came over to visit with Joe Biden. Must have been a stimulating visit for Chairman Xi. And let's look at what was done surrounding this and the what's going to be done following up, because it's pretty devastating in many ways. First, the what was done surrounding it. Newsom, gruesome out there in California, Lizard Man, cleaned up San Francisco. Cleaned it up. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the footage. All the homeless people who were sleeping on the streets had tents pitched there, made a garbage dump, and their latrine, they defecated in the streets. All gone, all gone. And Gruesome said, yeah, we removed him for Chairman Xi. Wouldn't do that for the people of San Francisco. Let them trash San Francisco for the average citizen. But for the dictator, and he is a dictator, of China, Gruesome cleaned up San Francisco. What does that tell you about his attitude toward his own constituents and toward the dictator of China? And this man wants to be president. So that's first of all. Then the flag display. The flag, it looked like as the cars came in with the Mr. Xi, it looked like Beijing. In all my years in politics, over 50 in Washington, I have never seen a city turned into another country's capital the way they did with all the flags and displays for communist China. But that's what they did. That's more than homage. That is becoming supine. That's becoming supine. That's subservience. And it's a little frightening when we consider who it was for. One of probably our leading adversary in the world, okay? Certainly economically, and maybe one day if we keep pushing the envelope militarily. So, and in terms of armaments now, it is our leading adversary, because we have given so much of our armaments to Zelensky. Okay, so that's what surrounded the event. Then you had the meeting where Joe Biden, who clearly has toxic dementia, meeting with one of the sharpest minds in the world. 2 hours alone. I'm not going to go into, when I finish up here, I'll lay out one of the things that Biden did there. But just the thought of that, folks, on the surface. I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know as well as I do that for that 2 hours, he was looking at Biden and listening to him mumble and stumble and fumble and thinking to himself, what a putz. Our Belt and Road Initiative, clear sailing. Our China 2025 initiative, taking over the technology of the world, that's their goal, clear sailing. So there we had that. Then two things about the aftermath. First of all, you had the gala dinner with Xi and the leading industrialist of America. Okay? There to pay homage. And you said, Carter, no, they were just mean. No, they were there to pay. They gave him a standing ovation when he came in. That's homage. That's homage. And who was there to bow down before Xi? Tim Cook of Apple. Of course, they make all their phones there instead of the United States, where they can employ American labor. You had Schwartzman of Blackstone or BlackRock. I get those two mixed up. They're interchangeable. Dalio of the other one, Blackstone or BlackRock, both of whom, by the way, have now gotten together with Zelensky to profit off the rebuilding of Ukraine. How much of that money do you think is going into the little grifter's pocket? A lot. So, and you had, of course, Bolio, or however it pronounces his name, CEO and chairman of Pfizer. 84% of our pharmaceuticals are now made in China. And so there was Pfizer to pay homage. Folks, it's sickening, isn't it? You know, it's enough to make us sick. It's not enough to make these globalist industrialists stop. And you can go on. Their net worth was $760 billion among these people. They're to team up with a man who has no use for capitalism, but what he does have a use for is what's known as fascism. That's where the government and big corporations team up, okay? They kind of seem to like that, don't they? They sure love Z. So that's where we are there. And then finally, so keep that in mind about those who head up American corporations now, who they consider their great leader. And finally, what Biden did after his meeting with Z, he came out and announced, I'm not talking about him calling Z a dictator. Look, it takes one to know one. Let me just parenthetically say, when you have a president whose first act in office was with his signature destroying America's energy independence, that's a dictator. A president who immediately ordered the firing of hundreds of thousands of American employees. If you don't take that vaccine, that's a dictator. A president who sicks his Department of Justice on his leading political opponent, that's a dictator. So it takes one to know one, so he called him a dictator. Called Z a dictator. And what he did worse, much worse, is at the meeting, we now know he promised Z that he would dismantle America's fossil fuel industry totally. Destroy millions of jobs. Take away your ability to use gas, your air conditioning, your oven, your gas oven. That's just the least of it. You know, finish off our fuel industry, skyrocket those. That was his promise to the man, Z, whose country is the leading user of fossil fuels in the world. So what he was saying is, we'll destroy our economy. You go ahead and help yours prosper. That's the aftermath of the meeting. So there you have it. Z came to America, and he can leave saying, I came, I saw, thanks to toxic Joe Biden and the barons of industry, I conquered. Got to fight it, folks, and we will.